to draw your attention. Abby Gale has been associated with the acapella and the key of A, so let me bring my pitch pipe, so if it's a little flat, sorry. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Abigail. All the drinks are on you. Happy birthday, Abigail. Eat as much junk food as you want on Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Renner Dennis Outdoor Athletic Complex for today's Frontier Conference contest, featuring the Vikings of Bellevue City State and your Bellevue University Bruins. Bellevue University welcomes all players, officials, and spectators to this contest. As a member of the NAIA, we are committed to the spirit of competition as champions of character, embracing 5 core values: respect, integrity, responsibility, servant leadership, and sportsmanship. We ask each of you as a participant, official, or spectator to abide by these values by creating a positive environment in which balls right there. Please enjoy the contest. Second half of the doubleheader today, leading off for the Vikings, number 6 catcher Pascal King. Second, number 22, second baseman Matt Stone. Benefit, number 97, second, number 13, left fielder David Buchlinski. Batting eighth, number 24, shortstop Alia Nicola. At ninth, number 1, right fielder Ashley Schumacher. Flex player is number 18, pitcher Gary Spokema. Starting lineup for Bruins, leading off number 9, shortstop Caleb Fisher. Second, number 18, catcher Marie Brown. Batting third, number 6, right fielder Mariah Argazon. Batting fourth, number 3, first baseman Bree McMurtry. Batting fifth, number 20, the DP Macy Wyman. Batting sixth, number 19, left fielder Leslie Eagle. Batting seventh, number 7, third baseman Savannah Short. Batting eighth, number 22, second baseman Miranda Garcia. Batting ninth, number 1, center fielder Layla Fiskus. Next player is number 14, pitcher Lindsey Gressman.
Welcome back to the Bellevue Bruins Sports Network. We are in Game 2 of our doubleheader today from the Renner Dennis Outdoor Sports Complex. In the first game, Valley City State was able to get the win 4-1. Had a really good first inning for them, where Decker was able to get a 3-run shot, giving him a 3-1 lead, and ended up scoring in the top of the 7th, leading to a 4-1 win. The starting lineups here, the Bellevue Bruins starting out in the field first. Caitlin Fisher, the shortstop. Marguerite Brown, the catcher. Right fielder Mariah Unverzat today. First baseman Brian McMurtry, Macy Wyman, Leslie Egan in left field, Savannah Short at third, Miranda Garcia at second. Center fielder is Layla Fiskus, and the pitcher today is Lindsey Dressman. From Marysville, Kansas, went to Marysville High School. She played there under coach Bert Lord. State pitcher honors from Sports in Kansas as a junior. Also named All-League that season and an honorable mention All-League honors as a sophomore. She compiled 583 innings pitched in high school with 43 wins and 48 shutouts in her career. She also did some batting offensively with a .302 batting average with 4 home runs, 26 doubles, 3 triples, 45 RBIs, and 16 stolen bases. So the star pitcher from Marysville High School getting the shot here for her. So far on this season, she is 1-0 with a 3.5 ERA. Pascal Keene will get it started here for Valley City State. In the first game, she went 1 for 4 from behind the plate. She's got a .370 average. Dressman trying to get the Bruins off to a good defensive start here. Here's the first pitch. And that one's going to be in for a strike one. Here's the second pitch. That one's going to be high. 1-1 the count. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one's going to be fouled off to the back for strike to get it. Nope. And that's going to be to the shortstop, Fisher, and she's going to throw it up to first for the second out in this inning. That first pitch can be in for a ball. 1-0. And that's going to be a double error getting to second base. Layla Fiskus just wasn't able to get the catch right there. Tried to have a good shot at it, but having to run in made it a bit tougher for her, and it's going to be an error. First pitch of this at-bat, Jenna Decker. Really good first game. Had a 3-run home run in the first inning. Ended up being 2 of 4 there. Here's the pitch. That one's going to have some contact to it. End up over the Valley City State dugout. Jenna Decker, sophomore out of Dickinson, North Dakota. Here's the pitch. Showed bunt, ended up pulling it back very quickly. That's going to be a ball. 2-1 the count. In her second season with the Vikings program, her freshman season, she batted .206 average and 36 games played with 13 hits, 2 triples, 1 home run. Here's the hit. That one's going to be back out to center field. Layla Fiskus is going to complete it this time for the second out of the inning. Going to tag up from second. And in there safely is Madden Borgenreef. So the Vikings going to have a runner at third base here with 2 outs. Here early here in the top of the first. Dressman trying to get out of this. And number 1 against Kennedy Stone. Kennedy Stone went 2 of 3 in the first game. Far on the season, 433 batting average. Here's the 0-1, and that one's going to be up outside for ball number 1. That one's going to be hit. Jess Ingle for Kennedy Stone. Kennedy Stone now with 19 RBI. The first game. Valley City State off to a quick start. 1-0 here in the first inning. That one's going to be just short, and she's going to throw up to first and right, but not before there was 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left on, and Valley City State's able to take a 1-0 lead going into the bottom of the first. Getting here to the bottom of the first, Grace Folkema will be taking the mound. 2-2 on this season is Grace Folkema. She pitched yesterday against the Bellevue Bruins, back here today. Caitlin Fisher in the last game went 1 for 4. Able to get a single early in the game, looking to get started early here again. Fisher out of Millard West High School. Here's the first pitch from Fulkema, and that's going to be low for ball number 1. Here's the 1-0. And that's going to be in for strike number 1. Fisher with a 451 batting average. Last year in the North Star Athletic Association, she was named Freshman of the Year and got all NSA honors with being a part of the Gold Glove team. That one's going to be hit out to right field. Fisher's been able to make good contact today. That's about her 3rd fly out in this doubleheader. So a good start for Fulkema, getting bottom of the 1st. Marguerite Brown now up to bat. 0 for 4 in the first game of this doubleheader. That one's going to be outside. Here's the 1-0. And that one's going to be low for ball 2. Marguerite Brown from Chapman, Ontario. She went to Chapman Kent High School. And she's transferred from Kankakee Community College. Just this last week, she was named Frontier Conference Player of the Week with a couple of the Bruins wins in Florida. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be a strike on the outside. Pascal Keene just not able to get a glove on it. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be low and outside. Ball number 3, hitter's count for Brown. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Fulkema, and that one's going to be outside. And the first walk of the game will be to Brown as the Bruins are able to get a base runner here with 1 out in the bottom of the 1st. Mariah Unverzat now up to bat, 360 average on the season. Well, that one's going to be low and inside for ball number 1. Team pitched yesterday. And that's going to be in for a strike. Pillay, Nebraska, and a transfer from Johnson County Community College. Here's the 1-1. And that was going to be a swing and a miss. Nice pitch by Fulkema. And it's going to be a 1-2 count now. Trying to get that second out of the inning is Fulkema. Fulkema on the season. 7. Here's the pitch. And that one's going to be low. Brown. Brown on first. No stolen bases on this season. Here's a pitch from Fulkema. That one's going to be hit over to third base. Going to try and get the double play here, and they won't in time, but able to get Brown out at second. A fielder's choice there by Aaliyah Nicola.
2 outs. Number 3, first baseman Bree McMurtry.
Two outs now in this inning. Bree McMurtry up to bat. Here's the first pitch. She's going to hit that one out right center field, and that one's going to get down and be gone for a home run. McMurtry with their 3rd home run on this season. That's going to be a 2-run shot for the Bellevue Bruins, and just like Valley State was able to get a home run from Decker in that first inning. In game number 2 of this doubleheader, McMurtry returns the... Macy Wyman came to pinch hit for Layla Fiskus. Struck out in that pinch runner at bat. First pitch, nice one right there from Forkema, able to get in for strike number one. A freshman from Millard South High School is Wyman. So far, 250 batting average on the season. Here's the first pitch. And now it's going to be inside for strike number two again. Wouldn't be surprised if Grace Forkema tries to go to that pitch right again, since Wyman's let that one go 2 times in a row. Here's the 0-2, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the first, that one's way outside for ball number one. Forkema so far this season has 29.1 innings pitched. They've given up 40 hits and 38 runs. Here's the 1-2. A bit inside that time. Not going to be called a strike. 2-2 the count. Some of the Valley City State fans down here didn't seem too happy with that one. Kenny Stone's going to run up and get it to a home run as Bruins have a 2-1 lead going into the top. Things out here for Valley City State. McNeil went 0 for 3 in that first at-bat. Here's the first pitch. 0-3 in the first game of this doubleheader. Trying to get off the stride a little bit. But just out. Respond with 2-1. Here's the 1-1. That was going to be a bit of a wild pitch. Luckily, no run. Caitlin McNeil, 261 batting average. Here's the 2-1. That was going to be hit right to short, and she's going to throw it over to first. Out. Here's the first pitch. Valley City State. She was 2-2 in the first game today. The top of the second, that one's going to be a bit high and outside. Called ball number 2. And she has a 325 batting average on this season. Has been able to get 13 hits and 40 at-bats. One out here in the top of the second. In the 2-1 is going to be hit for Avery Klinski, keeping her streak from being 2-2 in the first game, starting off 1-1 here. Up her second hit of the afternoon. Leah Nicola now up here. She's going to hit it over to Savannah Short. Going to try and complete the double play here. Had some good defensive plays out there throughout this series. Here's the first pitch. That one's going to be hit out of play for the complex. And that Brown kind of got up there, maybe thinking that Leah Nicola would try and steal. Nicola with 2 stolen bases on this season, so she's able to get there with 2 outs. Wouldn't be surprised to see a steal at all here. Here's the 1-0. Going to try for the bunt here, the 2-out bunt. Going to try to get over and get the out to retire the side. What a great play by Dressman. Able to run over to there and get it over to McMurtry at first base for the 1-3 ground out off the bunt. Up 2-1 as we go in the bottom of the second. Starting out here in the bottom of the second is Leslie Egan, the left fielder, 274 batting average. Folkema still on the mound here in the second. That first pitch going to be way inside. Looked like it almost maybe hit Egan, but not there. Leslie Egan was one of the better batters for the Bruins in that first game, 2 or 3 in that game. And that one's going to be swung on and missed by Folkema, putting the fastball down the middle. Here's the 1-1. And that's going to be in there for strike number 2. And now it's going to be swung on and miss again for Folkema's first strikeout of the game here in the second. Getting the first out here in the bottom of the second.
Now batting third base, number 7, Savannah Short.
Savannah Short now up to bat. 0 for 3 in the first game in this doubleheader. 210 batting average so far in this season. That first pitch is going to be down in the dirt for ball number 1. Here's the 1-0. Going to be second ball of this at-bat. Savannah Short, she's a senior majoring in business. Here's the 2-0. That was going to be fouled off out of play. First strike of this at-bat, 2-1. Strikeout to start this inning. Short trying to get the ball in play. That one's going to be low in the dirt again. 3-1 count. Hitters count here for Savannah Short. The 3-1, and that one's going to be inside. Have a 1-out walk in this inning. That's going to be the 34th walk this season for Grace Folkema. Miranda Garcia trying to have a little rally here for the Bruins with 1 out. Bruins are up 2-1 in this game. Here's 0-0, and that one's going to be popped up out of play. Foul ball, 0-1. And that one also can be hit out of play. 0-2 the count. Garcia down here a little early. Senior Miranda Garcia from Los Lunas, New Mexico. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be outside for ball number 1. She played at Valencia High School, and she was a transfer from College of Southern Nevada. She played 2 seasons there and batted .350 in 2024, 3 doubles, a home run, 8 RBIs. Here's the 1-2. That one's going to be hit out into center field. Decker going back to the warning track, but able to make the catch for the second out of this inning. Layla Fiskus now up to bat here. 226 average on the season. Here's the first pitch. That one's going to be in there for ball number 1. Two outs in this inning, 1 ball, no strikes. That one's going to be high and outside for ball number 2. And that one's going to be high as well. 3-0 count here. Bruins threatening to get another player on the bases here with 2 outs to go. Fiskus probably not going to swing at this one here. And that one's going to be inside. That's going to be a walk for the Bellevue Bruins. And the Bruins have runners at second and first here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Caitlin Fisher in her first at-bat today. She flew out to right field. Here's the pitch. And they're going to call that ball number 1. Caitlin Fisher, a sophomore, got all freshman honors last season, and the Bellevue Bruins were part of the North Star Athletic Association. Valley City State also a part of that too, moving in here into the Frontier Conference. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be a strike, 1-1. Both these teams picked to finish higher in the Frontier Conference in the early part of the season. Bellevue Bruins projected to finish second in this conference. Valley City State projected to finish third, with Dixon State being in that number 1 spot. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be hit over to third base. Going to get the tag over there and retire the side. Fielder's choice right there from Caitlin McNeil. Bruins able to have a couple players on base there with 2 left on, but no runs scored here in the top of the third. As in the bottom of the second, going into the top of the third. Two-one lead for the Bellevue Bruins here on the Bellevue Bruins Sports Network. Going into the top of the third here, Pascal Keene, the catcher, leadoff hitter for them. .370 average on the season. Keene hit into a 6-3 ground out in the first inning. Here's the pitch. That's going to be hit out left center field, and that's going to be down for a base hit. And it looks like it's going to be a double for Pascal Keene, leadoff double for the Vikings here in the top of the third. Then Bellevue was able to reach on an error in the first inning and end up getting in the 1 run. As Stone was able to get an RBI there. Here's the other pitch. That's going to be a foul ball. Here's the pitch, 1-1. That's going to be outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Keene at second, runner in scoring position for the Vikings. That one's going to be fouled off as well. Make it 2-2. Here's Dressman. Pitching in there. It's going to be fouled off again. Good battle between Bogenreef and Lindsey Dressman. Here's the 2-2. Trying to get the first out of this inning. That one's going to be hit out to center field and able to get it, but Keene is going to tag up from second, and the Vikings have a runner on third with 1 out. That catch was made by Layla Fiskus out there in center field. That one's going to be hit just over Valley City State's dugout. 0-1 the count. Jenna Decker, 350 average on this season, picking up her second home run today. That was going to be out to center field again. That one's going back. Fisk is going to go back to the warning track, and Keene is going to tag up from third and tie up this ball game. 2-2, Valley City State. Here's the first pitch of this at bat. Kennedy Stone, who was able to get the RBI in the first inning. Jenna Decker able to get a sacrifice fly now to make it 2-2. Here's the pitch, and it's going to be a ball. 2-0 the count here with 2 outs in the inning. And 3 balls in a row. 3-0 the count here. Threatening to get another runner on the bases here for the Vikings. Here's the 3-0, and that one's going to be outside again, and that's going to be a walk. As Kennedy Stone's able to get on the base paths again. Bernard now coming up to the plate here. That one's going to be hit. That's going to be a single into right field. Almost got maybe the out at first, but not in time. And another hit here in this inning for the Vikings. Now they got 2 runners on with 2 outs. And now the team's coming in to talk with Lindsey Dressman. And with the runner being scored and having 2 runners on here in the top of the third, going to have a change in pitcher as Mariah Unverzat, star pitcher for the Bruins yesterday, will be coming in here to pitch. And first batter Unverzat will face here, Caitlin McNeil, excuse me. Here's the first pitch, and that one's going to be low there for ball number 1. Vikings able to get 2 runners on the base paths here in the top of the third. Trying to take the lead here in this inning. That one's going to be hit over into second base. Smart play right there by Miranda Garcia, just putting her foot on the bag and retiring this side as Mariah Unverzat's able to come in. But a sac fly out in center field, able to bring a base runner home for the Vikings. They're able to tie this one up 2-2. Going into the bottom of the third here. Valley City State able to tie it up in the top of the third. Bruins looking to respond here. Marguerite Brown leading off at this inning for the Bruins. That first pitch by Fulkema is going to be outside for ball number 1. 1-0. That one's going to be hit out to right field, and that could be a double or maybe extra bases. Here comes down Brown, and she will get in safely to second, and the Bellevue Bruins are able to get a lead-off double here in the bottom of the third. Just coming in to pitch is Mariah Unverzat, now coming out here to bat. Unverzat heading to a fielder's choice by shortstop. That one's going to be outside for a ball. Runner in scoring position here for Unverzat. She's got 14 RBIs in the season, trying to get her 15th right here. Here's the 2-0, and that one's going to be inside for ball number 3. And that one's going to be low for on Verzat and going to be a walk. And the Bruins got 2 base runners here at the bottom of the third with no outs. Bree McMurtry was able to get a home run in the bottom of the first. Trying to get another one here. This would be huge for the Bruins. Here's the pitch. Now it's going to be hit out to left field, and a big hit right there. And a mess up right there from the left fielder, and that's going to score a run as Brown able to get around the base paths, and the Bruins are able to take a 3-2 lead in the bottom of the third. And it looks like there's going to be a pitching change here for the Vikings. Klossman's going to come in and pitch for Valley City State. Welcome back to the Bellevue Bruins Sports Network. Cooper Klossman taking over the mound here for Valley City State. She pitched a little bit yesterday, did really good in the second game of the doubleheader, and was able to help the Valley City Vikings get that win. But now coming out here in a jam, Bellevue Bruins just were able to score a run in this inning to make it 3-2. And they got runners at first and second with no outs. Macy Wyman trying to get another RBI in this season. That first pitch is going to be in there for strike number 1 with a swing and a miss from Macy. She flew out to first base in her first at bat. Here's the 0-1. And that was going to be another swing and a miss. That one was a bit outside. Macy Wyman got caught chasing that one. Strike number 2. Oh, 2 count. Here's that pitch. Not going to reach for that one. Ball number 1. 1-2 the count now. No outs. Runners on first and second for the Bruins. Here's that pitch. That one's going to be popped out. Is the catcher going to be able to catch it? And she will. And she's going to get there from third and able to get in safe. Really smart base running by the Bellevue Bruins. Unverzad seeing that the catcher, Keene, was more focused on that. Kind of turned around very slowly, and both runners able to advance on that one. So a tough go right there from Wyman, but able to move the runners to second and third. Here's the pitch, and that was going to be low. Leslie Egan now up to bat. Struck out in her first go. Klossman with the pitch. And they're going to try to tip that, bunt that one, and not able to keep it in play. Give me a foul ball, 1-2 count. Runners on second and third with 1 out in this inning. Leslie Egan just pretty much needs to get anything in play here for the Bruins to try to get another run. And that pitch is going to be inside for a strike, 1-2 the count. on this season. Leslie Egan has 16 RBIs. And that was going to be a swing and a miss, a huge strikeout for Clausen. Because any ball that would have been out in play would have scored the run for the Bruins. But not this time, as that's going to be her first strikeout. 2 outs now. Runners on second and third for the Bruins. Savannah Short now up to bat. That first pitch is going to be low for ball number 1.
Hey, Ego. Come on, shorty.
Savannah Short walked her first time up. Here's the pitch. She's going to hit that one. Is that one? That's going to be a foul ball. Close to being in play, but not quite. 1-1 the count for Savannah Short.
Hey, come on, Seth. Come on, Gator.
Here's the pitch. And that one's going to be a strike. 1-2 the count now for Savannah Short. With having runners at second and third with 1 out, the Bruins are going to be kicking themselves. They can't get another run in this inning. 3-2 lead, though, for the Bruins. Here's the pitch. Now it's going to be popped out over to right field. That might be a tough one, and it's not going to be caught, and that's going to score 2 runs for the Bellevue Bruins. A huge RBI single for Savannah Short. Always those tough ones out there, just at the edge of the infield. Hard to get over there. And a big single RBI. 2 RBIs there for Savannah Short to give the Bruins a 5-2 lead. That one's going to be hit out to left field. It's going to be a tough one again, but the left fielder, Avery Kalinsky, able to get that one easy and retire the side, but not before the Bruins are able to clear the bases there at the end and get a 2-run single from Savannah Short. Also getting an RBI from McMurtry as the Bruins, just like that, are up 5-2 going into the top of the 4th. Avery Kuklinski starting out here for Valley City State. She was able to get a single in her first time up. Mariah Unverzat taking over the mound in just this last inning over Dressman. Pitched a complete game yesterday in the first game of the doubleheader on Friday. Here's the 2-0. Now it's going to be swung on and foul tipped. Making it 2-1 the count. Avery Kuklinski, 325 batting average so far on this season. Here's the 2-1, and that one's going to be fouled off again, making 2-2 the count. up next is Leah Nicola for the Vikings. Here's the 2-2. And that's going to be a nice pitch. Strikeout looking by Mariah Unverzat. Leah Nicola hitting to a fielder's choice her last time up. And that pitch is going to be a single to right field. Maybe a chance of getting her at first, not in time. As the Vikings able to get a one-out single by Leah Nicola. Schumacher now up to bat here. And that one's going to be hit right to Fisher, over to McMurtry, and going to be safe. An infield single for Schumacher. Now Keene up the bat. Was able to get a double in the third inning. End up scoring a run and ended up being the runner that scored. The first pitch by Unverzat is going to be inside for a ball. And Vikings out of nowhere got runners on first and second with one out here in this inning. After falling down 5-2, trying to get some runs on the board. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be out. Left center field and going to be down. One runner will score. It's looking like it's going to be two. And the play at the plate is I'm not in time. And how about that? Pascal Keene with a big 2 RBI double, making this a 5-4 game now. Nope. Use the pitch, and that was me swung on and missed. How about the offensive back and forth in this game? Here's the 0-1. That was going to be hit over to the second, trying to get the double play at third, not in time, so but able to get the out at first. Miranda Garcia making the play there. McMurtry tried to get over to Savannah Short. Kennedy Stone, Jenna Decker now up to bat. She's the go-ahead runner at the plate. Was able to get her second home run on the season in the first game. That pitch is going to be down low. In both her at-bats so far this game, she flew out to center both times, but the one in the third inning was a sacrifice fly that was able to have Keene get in for the RBI. And here's the pitch, and that was going to be swung on a miss. A nice changeup by Mariah Unverzat. Jenna Decker definitely seemed way ahead of that one. 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 outs with Pascal Keene on third. And the pitch is going to be swung on a miss. Strike 2, 2-2 count here. Two, 2 outs. Unverzat trying to get out of this inning. That pitch is going to be way out inside. A bit too high. Kind of went up by Jenna Decker's face. 3-2 the count now. Bruins can't afford to have another base runner on. And that was going to be swung on a miss. Strike 3 to retire this side. But still a big inning for Valley City State as they were able to get 2 hits and 2 runs in that inning. But Bruins still lead after 4, 5-4 Bellevue. Back with the bottom of the fourth. Layla Fiskus will get things started. Layla Fiskus walked in her first at-bat. Here's the pitch. Now it's going to be fouled off. Layla Fiskus, a junior out of Papillion in the Vista South, appeared in 47 games a year ago with 43 starts, primarily in the outfield. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be hit in a foul ball over the Bellevue Bruins dugout. She's a 4-year letter winner in high school at Papio South High School under head coach Tom Horton. The 0-2, and that's going to be swung on and oh, maybe a foul tip there. Oh, 0-2 count here for Fiskus. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be another foul ball. Bellevue Bruins leading this one 5-4 at about the midway point of the game here in the bottom of the fourth. Here's the pitch. One, 2 is the count here for Layla Fiskus, as it's been a battle here for the leadoff batter of this inning. That pitch is going to be inside and called for ball number 2. Here's 2-2 pitch. Now it's going to be hit good in another foul ball for Layla Fiskus. Good battle here for the junior out of Papillion. For Clausen. 3.82 ERA in the season with 3-1 record. There's the pitch. Try to do it with the changeup and able to get contact again is Fiskus. Clausen already up to 67 pitches on this game. Here's the 2-2. That one's going to be hit again, but this time in play over to the shortstop, able to catch it for the first out of this inning. Aaliyah Nicola with the catch. Caitlin Fisher was able to get a single in the first inning of last game, but so far in this one, she's flown out twice. One to right field and one to the third baseman. Here's the pitch. Gonna hit that one right in the third, the line out. Caitlin McNeil with the catch. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be hit in 1-2-3 inning for Valley City State. And a good inning. No hits, no runs, no errors as the Bellevue Bruins still lead 5-4. Looking back into the Bellevue Bruins Sports Network. Got the top of the fifth here. Kennedy Stone leading off the way for the Vikings. Kennedy Stone has been able to get on the base pass in both for at-bats, getting a single in the first and walked in the third. Here's the first pitch from Unverzat. Brian Unverzat, the junior out of Papillion, Nebraska, was named NSAA Newcomer of the Year last season when she joined the Bruins squad. And that's going to be a hit by pitch for Kennedy Stone.
So they got a pitch now, man.
And what we've seen from when Mariah has come out to pitch, that's not been one of her better ones we've seen. Doesn't make that mistake too often. That first one's going to be a ball as well. Kylie Bernard now up to bat, 324 batting average. That pitch is going to be a ball as well, 2-0 the count here. Valley City State able to get a base runner on the paths after that walk here with no outs in the top of the fifth. Here's Mariah. Pushes one in, and that one looks good and to be a strike. 2-1 the count here. Mariah Unverzat, 2.53 ERA and a 4.3 record after getting a win yesterday. That one's going to be outside for ball 3. Hitters count for Kylie Bernard. Bernard hit into a 5-3 ground out in the first inning, but able to get a single in the third. Here's the pitch, and able to get another single there. She's going to have Kennedy Stone move to second. And Bernard able to get her second hit of the game. And with no outs, the Vikings are threatening. Caitlin McNeil now coming up to bat here with no outs. That first pitch swung on a miss for strike number 1. Five-3 ground out in the second inning for McNeil and a fly out to second base. Here's the pitch. That one's a bit inside for the first ball of this at bat, and 1-1 the count. 5-4 lead for the Bellevue Bruins. And it's going to be look like the umpire called a violation. Not entirely sure what it was, but it's going to be strike number 2. There's a 1-2 pitch. That was going to be outside for ball number 2. Sounds like, from what I'm hearing, maybe took a bit too long with the batter's box, but still an interesting one there from the umpire. Here's the 2-2. Now it's going to be swung on a miss. Drop throw strike, and get over to the third. And I think they might be calling her out at third. Oh, safe. He said, my bad, safe. So, yeah, what it looks like here. So it's a drop through strike for someone at first base. That's going to be a strikeout, not able to advance her since the runner's at third. It kind of looked like the umpire might have called when she was running over to the third there, out, but I think he was saying she was out at first. The strike was out doing that sound, and the Valley City State fans seem to be pretty angry about it, but runners on the corners here for the Vikings with a strikeout. Kuklinski was able to get a single in her second inning. Struck out looking in the fourth. And now up in the count here, 2-0. Count. Now it's going to be hit just over Savannah short. And that's going to be an RBI single for Avery Kuklinski. And with one out, it's tied 1-1. 5-5. This one over to Savannah again. She's going to get that out at first, but runners are going to advance to second and third. So far in this game, Valley City State has 9 hits to the Bruins 4. Baylor up to bat here. And that first pitch is called for a strike. 0-1 the count. Runners on second and third. 2 outs here for the Vikings. Here's the pitch. Now it's going to be outside as well. 1-1 the count here. Back and forth matchup for both these teams. Here's the pitch. Outside for 2-1. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Strike number 2 for Mariah Ernbrinzat. Trying to get out of this inning right here and only giving up 1 run. Here's the pitch. Going to be outside, and they're going to call it a ball. 3-2 the count now. There's been times in this series it seems like that's been called a strike, but nonetheless, umpire going to call that one a ball here. Full count. Runners on second and third. Unverzat's going to throw it in. It's going to get hit over to Garcia, over to first, and to retire the side and only give up 1 run is the Bellevue Bruins, and a huge one right there. And we're going into the bottom of the 5th. The Bruins and Valley City State Vikings tied at 5. With the bottom of the 5th here for you in the Bellevue Bruins Sports Network. Mariah Unverzat is leading off here for the Bellevue Bruins. Also pitching today. Played some right field earlier in this matchup as well. 365 average for Mariah. And that one's going to be fouled out of play. Mariah is majoring in sports management. On the count, and that one's going to be hit, and that's going to be a single for Mariah Unverzad, getting a leadoff single here for the Bellevue Bruins. Hit it right at Caitlin McNeil, and just a tough one to get her hand on. And these teams just seem to be trading punches throughout this entire game. Here's the pitch from Clausen. And a bit of a changeup there, going to be low for a ball. Yeah, Valley City State started off the scoring with 1 run. Bruins responded with 2. And then Valley City State got 1. Bruins responded with 3. Valley State got 2. And the Bruins haven't been able to respond on that one yet. This one's going to be hit good. Back to the warning track, going to be off the wall. Runner's going to go to third, and that's going to be a double for McMurtry, and a big one right there. And Bruins got runners at second and third with no outs. Macy Wyman trying to get an RBI here. Here's the pitch. That was going to be hit. That was going to be over into first base, and the runner will not tag from third. That's not what you wanted there. Usually getting contact in this situation can probably score a run, but can't be hitting it in the infield, makes it a lot tougher. Since Mariah cannot leave that bag until that ball's caught. First out of this inning. Here's the pitch right here, and that's going to be a foul ball. Catcher's going to try to catch it, not able to get there. Good try by Keene. She's already caught 1 fly out from that position today. Leslie Egan. Struck out both times up to bat today. Here's the pitch from Clausen. Now it's going to be swung on and missed by Leslie. And just like that, down 0-2 in the count. Can't afford to get another strikeout here. Got to try to get something in play. Here's the 0-2. That's going to be hit. That's going to be out left center. Are they going to get there? They will not. That's going to be a ground rule double and score both runners for the Bellevue Bruins. And Leslie Egan comes up big with a double. As Unverzat and McMurtry will score. 7-5 lead now for the Bellevue Bruins.
Egan makes it 7-5. 1 out now batting Savannah Short.
Here's the first pitch, Savannah Short. That one's going to be hit. And again, trying to make the fielders work and not able to catch it there. That's a huge error. If she can be able to score from second, she's going to try and get there from home. And there's going to be no plate at the plate. And Savannah Short gets her 3rd RBI of the game.
RBI for Short makes it 8-5. Runner on second. Now back number 22. Second baseman Miranda Garcia.
And how about this inning for the Bellevue Bruins? Unverzat able to get a hit. McMurtry able to get a hit. Able to get hit is Egan, and then a error right there from Short, able to bring another run in, and the Bruins are up 8-5. Miranda Garcia now up to bat with a runner in scoring position. Garcia has flown out both times in this game, 1 to center, 1 to left. Here's a pitch from Clausen. And a nice looking changeup right there, and that's going to be in for a strike. Clausen now up to 81 pitches on the game. Here's the 1-1. And swung on and miss. 1-2 the count now. One, two, trying to get the second out of this inning is Clausen. She's going to hit that one. That one's going to be kind of tough to play, and it's going to get down for another single. Another hit in the inning for the Bellevue Bruins, as with how shallow that one was. That's going to keep Savannah short at second. Garcia able to get that single and have runners twice. And now Coach Matt Gable's going to be coming out to talk to Clausen here. And it looks like they will be changing pitchers here. Hadley Gurley now coming in to pitch for the Bellevue Bruins. For the Valley City State Vikings. And the first pitch for Gurley is going to be in there for a strike. Daniela Ramirez pitch hitting for Layla Fiscus. One the count. And that one's going to be fouled off. Daniela Ramirez from Omaha, Nebraska. She went to Miller North High School. So far in this season, in her 6 games played, she's at a .462 average. She helped lead the Miller North Mustangs to a Nebraska Class A state runner-up finish. That one's going to be a ball. 2-2 the count here for Daniela. So far, the big 5th inning for the Bellevue Bruins. Here's the pitch. Gonna be fouled off again. 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be low for ball 3. Now Gurley coming in here to pitch. And it's threatening to maybe bases loaded here if she can't get something in the strike zone. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be outside, and bases loaded with one out for the Bellevue Bruins, looking to continue their big fifth inning.
Re-entering for Ramirez, number 1, Layla Piscus at first base.
Caitlin Fisher coming up to bat here for the Bruins. So far 0-3 on the day with a fly out to right, a fly out to third, and a line out to third base. The shortstop who averages 451. We really need to hit from here to just continue this big fifth. Going to be a hit there. Going to head to shortstop and looked. And the coach doesn't seem too happy about that. They looked at home. Not sure if they got her in time at first, but the umpire is going to say that she is out. And not seeming too happy about that one. There's both Bellevue coaches. We're still at second and third with 2 outs, but easily could have been. Oh, did score a run there. Excuse me, making it 9-5 now on making it 4-run. So not being able to get there was Fisher, but still able to get an RBI on her record. A 9-5 lead for the Bruins. Brown walked and had a double in this game so far, but had a fly out to second base. Well, that one's a bit too outside for her. Lets it go 2-1. Hadley Gurley, no wins or losses on the season with a 3 ERA and giving up 4 runs here. That one's going to be hit back and fouled off. Two balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Gurley, and that was going to be fouled off again by Brown. Brown trying to get a 2-out hit here. So far on this season, Marguerite Brown has 13 RBIs and has had 14 doubles to her name. Being able to get one today. Here's the pitch. That was going to be hit. That one's going back, and gone for the second home run of the game for the Bruins. Marguerite Brown able to get her second home run of the season, and the Bruins have completely blown this one open. 12-5 lead. And how about that, a home run double? And Mariah Unverzot trying to continue this run. That one's going to be hit and fouled off for the first strike of this at-bat. This pitch, that one's going to be high. And that one's going to be low. 2-1 count now for Unverzot. big fifth inning for Bellevue here. 7 runs in this 5th inning. Unverzat has 1 home run on this season. That one's going to be inside. Hitters count here for NAIA. Three, 2 count. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be outside, and it's going to be a walk as Unverzat will be there. Now with a runner on, still 2 outs in this inning, but with the 7-run lead for the Bruins, there could be a chance if they're able to get another run on the board, this game could be ending. Here's Bree McMurtry. She's going to hit that one. It's going to be fouled off. McMurtry had a home run in the 1st, single in the 3rd, and had a double in this inning, the 5th. There's the pitch. That one's going to be hit, and that one's going to be a single right to left field. And the Bruins have runners on 1st and 2nd base. Macy Wyman, who's also already been up in this inning as well, trying to continue this 7-run inning. And that one's going to be way outside for ball number 1. One-0 count here. Macy Wyman looking to get a hit here. She's going to hit it. And that one's going to be a foul ball. Here's the pitch, the 1-1, and surprised Macy let that one go right down the middle with the changeup. Must have not have liked it. Hadley Gurley trying to get out of this inning here. 1-2 count here for Macy Wyman. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be outside, and it's going to be called strike 3, a backwards K for Hadley Gurley. Finally getting out of the inning, but the Bellevue Bruins able to score 7 runs in the 5th and take a 12-5 lead.
7 runs, 5 hits, 2 left. We go to the top of the 6th, 12-5 Bruins.
Well, it's been a game of responses for both of these teams, and Valley City State has usually been able to respond to every Bruins punch, but it's going to be tough to come back from almost a knockout blow with 7 runs in the bottom of the 5th. Pascal Keene leading off this inning for the Vikings. So far on this game. In the first, she hit in a 6-3 in a ground out. ended up getting a double in the third and was able to get a double with 2 RBIs in the fourth. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be hit over to Savannah Short. She's going to throw it to first, and not going to be in time. That's going to be an error, and Keene's going to get all the way up to second base. That's going to be error to start off the way here. Madden Borgenreef. Was able to reach on an error in the first inning. Flew out to center in the third and then grounded out to second baseman in the fourth. Valley City State has been able to score runs in each of the last 3 innings. Trying to continue that here. Here's the pitch from Unverzat, and that one's going to be in there for strike. 2-1 count here. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be swung on a miss. Strike number 2 for Madden Bogenreef, the second baseman. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be in there for strike 3. And Madden Bogenreef just looks at that one all the way into Brown's hands. Bruins get their first out of this inning. Here comes up Decker. Struck out in her last time up. She's going to bunt this one, try to get that one over to the third. Unverzat's going to throw to the first to get the out, but the bunt puts a runner on third base here for the Vikings. 2 outs now in the inning. .12-5 lead for the Bellevue Bruins here in the top of the 6th. Here's the pitch from Unverzat. That one's going to be hit and fouled off. Just fell by third. Kenny Stone, her last time up, was hit by a pitch. She has gotten an RBI today. In the first, she was able to get a single. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be low and inside. Two outs here in the top of the 6th. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be outside for ball number 2. There's the pitch. That one's going to be hit and not able to get it as short, and that's going to score a run. Kenny Stone trying to get to second, and she will safely for the double, and Valley City State scores a run in this inning and make that 4 innings in a row where the Vikings have been able to get one on the board. The only inning they haven't is the second. Deficit still 6 though, but some confidence maybe for the Vikings. Here's Bernard going to hit it right to Unverzat, and she will retire this side, but Valley City State able to score a run in that inning to get the hit total to stay the same at 10-10. We go to the bottom of the sixth, 12-6, Bellevue Bruins.
Whose song is this? What? Is that yours? Oh. I'm like, where are you at?
Bottom of the sixth leading off for the Bruins, number 19.
Leslie Egan starting off things here for the Bellevue Bruins as Hadley Gurley. First one's going to be in for a strike. Leslie Egan able to get a RBI double in the fifth before having 2 strikeouts. And that one's going to be hit by a pitch by Leslie Egan getting out to base here. The Bruins are able to score 2 runs in this inning. I believe that it would be a mercy rule in this matchup. And that one is going to be in for a strike. Catcher not able to corral it, but able to keep it in front of her, so no threat of. And that one's going to be popped out and not able to get the catch there. It's Kennedy Stone, but a really good attempt at it. That's a tough play right there. Here's the 0-1 from Gurley. And that one's going to be another hit in the same area, but right field able to get it first out of this inning. Good play by Ashlyn Schumacher.
Now batting number 22, Miranda Garcia.
Miranda Garcia up to bat here. First one's going to be a ball. Miranda Garcia was able to get a single her last time up in that 7-run fifth inning. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be outside. One out here in the bottom of the sixth. And that one's going to be over to third. Going to try and get the double play here. And the ball kind of falls out of the hands. Going to be out there at second. And that's going to be a fielder's choice right there. 2 outs in the inning now. Got from the fielder's choice as a runner at first. But Layla Fiskus. Fiskus in her 2 at-bats. Got out by the shortstop and had a walk in the second. Fiskus, 226 batting average on the season. Going to hit one there. Going to be a single, and that one's going to get down and more. Runner's going to advance to third. She's going to get down to second, and the Bruins, with runners on second and third, with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th, with Caitlin Fisher coming up to bat. Yeah, Fisher able to get a single here. That might end the game here in the bottom of the 6th. 12-6 lead for the Bellevue Bruins. 8 would end it with the mercy roll. Here's the hit. That one's going to be up. Is it going to get down? And yes, it will, to retire the side. Bruins had a good effort there to try to get a couple runs here at the end with 2 outs. There's 2 hits, 2 left on, but the Bruins up 12-6 going into the top of the 7th, trying to finish it out. Top of the 7th here on the Bellevue Bruins Sports Network, and Valley City State needs one of their biggest innings of the season if they want to come back in that one, but anything is possible. The Bellevue Bruins were able to get 7 runs in the bottom of the 5th to give them this 12-6 lead. Mariah Unverzat trying to get the save here. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be hit over to Fisher. Fisher's going to throw it to first. McMurtry able to make the play, and the Bruins off to a good start, trying to wrap up this game. Now at the bat is Caitlin McNeil. 0-3 on the day. Had a strikeout in the 5th. Oh, excuse me, Kalinsky. Had a single in the 5th and a single in the 2nd. Kingensley, the left fielder, 325 batting average. 1-1 the count here. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be outside for ball number 2. One the count here. Unverzat, and that's going to be fouled off by Avery. Mariah Unverzat on the season with a 2.53 ERA with a 4.3 win-loss record. 1-2 the count. Here comes the pitch. And that one's going to be just a tad bit low and inside there for a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Here's a pitch from Mariah. That one's going to be hit. And not able to get it is both the Bellevue Bruins, Miranda and McMurtry. Were able to kind of keep it in front of them, but not able to corral the ball. And that's going to be an error on the Bellevue Bruins. And Avery Kalinsky that's going to be a single. So 1 out single for the Vikings. That one's going to be a foul ball there. Leah Nicola. We've seen today the Bellevue Bruins been able to get a couple double plays. Be nice to get one here now. Here's Unverzat. 0-2 the count. Swing on and miss. And not going to be a drop third strike. First base was occupied, and the Bellevue Bruins have 2 outs. 1 out away from getting a win. Trying to get their 11th win of the season. Here's the pitch. And that one's going to be a strike 1 from Ryan Unverzat. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be outside, trying to get her out at first and not going to be able to. One count here. Unverzat trying to get the win today. Going to hit it out to Fisher. Fisher's going to throw it up to first, and it's not going to be able to be completed. That's going to be an error on the first baseman. Runner's going to move to third, and Vikings are going to have runners on the corners here with 2 outs. Vikings trying to do everything they can for a 2-out rally. Ashlyn Schumacher. Here's the pitch. That's being there for a ball. Schumacher's been to the plate twice today. Got out in the second and had a single in the fourth. And that one's going to be up in for a strike. Schumacher and Kalinsky on the base paths. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be just a bit outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Two, 1 count. Here's the pitch. And that one's going to be in there for a strike as well. 2-2 count. Ryan Unverzat trying to get the save here. Here's the pitch. Swung on, but it's going to be foul tipped. And after that one, might have bounced up and hit the umpire. Taking a couple of seconds here. In Kowalski. 261 average, trying to save it here, 2-2. And that's going to be a strike 3, caught looking, and the Bellevue Bruins are able to beat the Valley City State Vikings 12-6. In this 4-game series, the Bellevue Bruins were able to get 2. Valley City State were able to get 2. What a big win as the Bellevue Bruins improve to 11-13 on the season. Looking at some of the stats here for these teams. Couple big plays for the Bruins. Marguerite Brown was able to get 3 RBIs today with 3 ABs. McMurtry was also able to get 3 RBIs. Egan was able to get 2 RBIs, and Savannah Short was able to get 2 RBIs as well. Looking at Valley City State and what they were able to do today. 2 RBIs for Pascal Keene, but she was able to get 2 doubles on the day. Kenny Stone was also able to get an RBI and a double, and same with Avery Kuklinski. But the Bellevue Bruins use a big 5th inning to come out and win 12-6. Valley City State was able to score 6 runs on 11 hits with 1 error, and Bellevue was able to get 12 runs on 11 hits and 3 errors. So for the first weekend here at the Redder Dennis Outdoor Complex, the Bellevue Bruins were able to be 2-2. But a couple good matchups and a good showing by the Bellevue Bruins. Coming up next for the Bellevue Bruins, we will be back here